Hello everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, so welcome back to yet another Overloop sharing session episode. Right now, this is the 11th episode of OSS, and right now I'm with Sandika. Hello, Sandika.
Hello Raka, hello everyone.
Okay, Sandika, how it's going?
I'm good Raka, thank you. How's it going?
It's good. It's good. So, in this 11th episode of OSS, we're gonna talk about a project that we've been working on since maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually an international project. And okay, Sandika, can you tell us about it, about the project overall?
Yeah, so actually, last 3 weeks we have been very busy handling
Right.
an international event called the Topcoder Open. So the Topcoder Open itself is an annual event by Topcoder.
Mm-hmm.
So Topcoder itself is the crowdsourcing platform,
Mm-hmm.
which is the place for programmer, designer, and data scientists to competing against each other
I see.
in the bounty format. So
Mhm.
they're actually aiming for the high price and compete to win a project by Topcoder customer.
Oh, I
And the
see.
Topcoder Open itself is the annual event, is the ultimate programming, design, and data scientist tournament, which accumulates the points for every year. And
Mhm.
the best of the best for every year is being is being given place for Topcoder to compete on site. The original idea is they are
Mhm.
being flew from their original country to United States to
Mhm.
compete on site. And yeah, and this year has been a pandemic situation, and we are doing it online. So we are helping them to produce the media content.
I see. So we're basically working from our office here in Bantul, Indonesia, and we're giving consent to them to use in that event, right? So
Mm.
and the Topcoder Open itself is already been since like 2002, 2003.
Yeah, it was like around for more than 10 years, I guess. It's
Mhm.
since 19 something. If I'm mistaken.
19.
Oh no, it's the 2000 and something.
2000 and something.
It
yeah,
has been like around for
it's
a long
since
time
like
ago.
early 2000s, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
and Overloops ourselves has been working for Topcoder since 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so the unique things about the Topcoder. So actually Topcoder is one of our biggest client at the
Mhm,
moment.
mhm.
They like has been give us so many projects, and the most exciting one. Like
Mhm.
one of them is we have such opportunity to traveling across the globe. So last 2 years we had a project to create a documentary video for the Topcoder community member. So we flew to Europe, United States,
Mhm.
India to visit the Topcoder community member and create a documentary project of that. And what's also special about Topcoder is because it's also the first time for us to really going overseas to
Mhm.
United States just to record and helping them to documenting the on-site event. So since 2017,
Oh, 17, right.
yeah, so we actually being invited by Topcoder to fly to United States to help them recording the events till 2019. And actually to 20 and 21 also should be on-site to event as well, but because of the pandemic, it's
Yeah.
being held online. So it has been like since 2017.
Yeah, so previously you always go to US every year, right, for this event. So and since 2020, because of pandemic, we start to work all their videos online, right? So we're gonna talk about that later. But in the start of this podcast, you've been telling us that it's been a busy weeks for us. So there's definitely some big challenges right there,
Mm,
right? Yeah. What is the biggest challenges of working on this big event and this international event? Like what is the biggest challenge of it?
Yeah, so the biggest challenge is actually we always make a Topcoder Open as our stress test,
Mm-hmm.
I can say.
That's
So
interesting.
Topcoder event is always become our benchmark in our quality of video and photo. So I really remember at the time when I and my wife So we flew together to Buffalo, United States,
Mm-hmm.
two of us. Uh, Documenting such a very big event for some days. It's only two of us, and ideally, like for that kind of big event, usually like maybe 5 or 6 people. Like we usually what we did in Indonesia is we, in a team of production crew is like 5 or 6 people, but it's only two of us going to the United States. And also not only that, we also create a very high standard because
Mhm.
we actually being flew from all the across the globe to the United States. Of course, we want to deliver the best quality possible.
Yeah, definitely.
So we bring lighting setup, we
Mhm.
bring a lot of camera, we bring a lot of tripods, just two of us. So it's like all day and night we working non-stop
Mhm.
to to capture as many footages as possible. But at the end, even we are very exhausting, but we're very satisfied with the result. And every year we always try to increase the quality.
I see.
So of course, talking about the challenge is more like about how we can gain and get the best result possible for Topcoder.
I see. So, yeah, that's definitely crazy for those that have been shooting maybe that kind of event before. You know that even with that big of a crew, it can be that big of a challenge. Especially this is an international event, so you can really mess anything up. And from uh, supposedly you have like five, 6 crew to only 2 crews with that much of setup. Like Chandika said that they're using big lighting setup and etc. because it's a big event, so the production quality must be like really good. So that's kind of crazy to hear because yeah, I've documented event myself, even it's just like a small events, but even with 2 or 3 people, it's really hard. And in that kind of event, I didn't really use that kind of big lighting setup because lighting setups take like not small amount of times to set up because you kind of really like make sure that your lights really in the perfect spot to like this setup that we have here to really light us up like perfectly and evenly. And make sure to not give like too harsh of a shadow, etc. And yep, that's just crazy to do it with
Just two of us.
yeah, just
Right.
2 people. And for those that haven't seen that video yet, you can check on Topcoder channel, I believe.
Yeah, Topcoder channel.
From TCO 17, you can check all that videos there. And yep, so now we're talking about this year's event, which is in pandemic condition that we do all the work like remotely. So there's must be some kind of different challenge, right? So so we're eliminated like that kind of challenge to have to produce video on the spot, like only using 2 crews. So what is the biggest challenge of video production, the TCO video production on these pandemic situations?
Yeah, so starting from 2020, Topcoder made this event online, which is actually a little bit beneficial for us because we don't have to really going into the field and do all the hard work like going. I remember at the time, all the friends in Topcoder community see me like in a unique way because I always bring camera and do this kind of weird movement like this kind of ninja walk going all over the places. And this time, of course, we don't have that kind of experience anymore. Meet all the community members, which is a very fun experience. But we have to do that online. So platform is always become the main aspect here. And last year, Topcoder using Hopins.io. So basically, Hopins is a very cool online platform to host such event because they're able to simultaneously record multiple people in the same time. So they record your webcam, they record your streaming, which is very good for us because we just need to download that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and of course with the online presence, there should be some value that we need to add in the Topcoder. So last 2 years actually start from the online event. We are trying to create, of course, when Topcoder in the Topcoder Open there is a things called a welcome video. So before the event starts, there will be a video is being played at the beginning of the opening ceremony to just kick off the event. And it's always become such a interesting things to us to work on, because every year we really want to come up with from fresh and new ideas. So for the last 2 years, we're trying to stretch ourselves with our efforts to create such a 3D animations.
Mm-hmm.
Just a simple 3D, a simple thing, but it's actually put a stretch on us how to really produce such a 3D animation, and how we can make a transformation between the human people who working on the computer, the real life shot footage, and it's transforming into 3D. So one of our crew member, Ahya, is over here, is actually working on that 3D things, which is very exciting for us to see, and be satisfied with the result. And for this year too as well, we're just trying to do something different. But the most challenging things for me for this year is because the platform that the Topcoder are using is actually different. So there is some things that unexpected happen, especially on how the platform is unable to record the footage, the webcam footage of the finalists, which is it's important for us to create a recap video, because we want to see how actually each of the finalists working on their computer. But there is a chance for us to get that kind of recording, because actually they are showing the webcam feed, but they're not just recording it.
They just
So so we need to come up with some solutions. We have to do that manually. So we have to stand by during the night, and we turn on all of the computer here, just to monitoring each of the finalists, because the capacity, the amount of the computer is not equal with the amount of the finalists. So we have to regularly switching between one finalist to another, and just it's put us to more efforts. It's more challenging. It's the endurance work, but it's always Topcoder is always become such a stress and stress test for us. But of course, it's still fun things to do, because we actually into the event with the community member, which all of them are our friends too as well in the community. And it's just fun, but also exhausting at the same time. But it's rewarding. For sure.
That's definitely interesting. We have like maybe 8 or 9 computers here, maybe, and all of them recording, and it's not enough, because if I'm not mistaken, at some tracks the finalist is maybe like 14 or 12 people, if I'm not mistaken.
Some of them.
So
14.
Sandika and his wife Ferida have to stay awake in the night, because the event itself is like using US time, right? And which is when it's known in the US, in Indonesia it's like midnight till early morning. And so they have like really little amount of
sleepless night. But it's kind of beneficial to us as well. So working in a different time zone, it can be such a burden, because in some occasion you have to deal with their time zone. So you need to adapt and adjust your work time to match their time. But in the same too as well, it can be beneficial, because everything can be worked during our daytime, and they can expect the result in their daytime. So in the daytime, they can see the result, they can give feedbacks, they can collect all the feedback revision they need to make. At the end of their day, we start working on the revision. So it's actually the endless cycles of working, which can definitely speed up the progress and can make things happen. And what's another interesting thing is actually it's always become challenging. So Topcoder, the main concept of the Topcoder Open is how each of the finalists is competing against each other, against the competitor, and also against the time, because they're only given such a very limited time to working on particular problems. And ourselves as well as the video editor also given such a very small time to finish all the video that needed for the next day. As you'll remember, at the last day is always the first thing is the introduction of all finalists. So we have that kind of video which collects more than 90 people introducing themselves. with the origin country, which is you working on that,
Yep,
right?
I'm working on that video.
And each of the finalists introducing themselves, and they have that kind of name, uh, handle name, country, etc. I don't know. Always there is some such a small mistakes that happen. Either it can be some mistake on the original document that they send to us, or maybe us has some typo in typing. But it's always happening like that, and the revision is very challenging because it's long of video. So when there is a small changes happen, there's a multiple render that need to be done,
Yep,
and
right.
it takes a long time. And especially some of them are doing that kind of rehearsal, and they're still noticing that at the last minute. So it's actually, oh, it's very stressful to really trying to just wait for the render time to finish.
Yep.
And there's such a fear that it's not finished and not able to make it. But yeah, it just happened smoothly and be able to make it.
Yeah,
So grateful.
so basically all the events like working like as we plan, right? So there's no like a video that really come late, right? So
No. There's yeah. So one thing I remember that from Jessie. Jessie is our TCO queen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she always say that prepare for the worst scenario.
Yep.
And there's no actually she's not giving that kind of such a pressure, but we just want to deliver the best. And of course, I want to make sure that every feedback they give to us, we can able to handle that. But at the end, if you're not able to handle that, then I think it's still acceptable for them. But it's not that everything is done on the last minute, which is makes it's a very memorable experience for all of us.
Right.
So it's a win-win.
Yeah, I see. So even though there's not like asking for the best possible video, we ourselves likes to challenge ourselves to deliver the best out of even like their briefs may be like simpler than what we usually work on. So we're kind of tend to give more like to give that extra final thoughts that makes the video itself like different from another video and being better and better.
Yeah.
And so as you say that we work on a lot of video. So that kind of video like the welcome video, we actually have to make that last moment revision, right? Because there's something wrong in the maps, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Some text that's wrong. So in this kind of big video, if we have like something wrong, we usually have to really like go back a few projects, because we usually like our workflow is moving from After Effects to another After Effects project, then to Premiere Pro. So that's kind of like a challenge and something like it's really made us fear, because this kind of small mistake always came in the last moments.
Right.
It's like when we check the video, everything's good, and then suddenly just like, oh no, this is the wrong font here. That kind of things make us really fear for it.
Yes, especially because one thing I realized that like some of you say Raka is new with Upperloops.
Yep.
Raka is just on board with Upperloops for the past few months,
Mm-hmm.
and this TCO is the first TCO for Raka
Mm-hmm.
and some of the member in our team in Upperloops. So they're not really familiar with the brand guidelines of Topcoder. So it looks fine to me as well. But when we are delivering that to the Topcoder, and they say that it's good, some people say it's good to go. But when it comes to some people who actually know the brand of Topcoder, they're noticing the differences in the font weight and the small font type.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of another round of revision. What some client might not know is because changing such a font also requires us to render multiple times, because we also create some font animations.
Yep.
Which is another work to do, but still we aware about that, and we always want to deliver the best. Also, this is our responsibility, but we just put another story, which is maybe in the next time we need to make sure that the brand is being in line with the brand guidelines of our clients. So it is the lesson learned from that case.
Right. So I definitely made some mistake there at the beginning of this project because, yeah, as Andika says that this is my first times working on TCO, and yep, I'm not really familiar with it previously, but yeah, in this kind of big brands, big names that have been established from a long time ago, being to be in their guidelines is actually really, really,
Important.
uh, it's really, really, and something that really needed to be put attention on because we don't want to mess their brands up, right?
Right. Yeah.
So one of the problem that we have earlier is that we have uh, a video that we already working on, and we have rendered it, we have sent it to them, and yeah, as I said earlier, we actually put the wrong font. So I'm actually not really noticing that every years of this year they have been using the same font and like etc. And yep, to fix that font, to replace it with the fonts that they usually use, it's a challenge because we're racing with time, and with that long of workflow, it's it's just it's just such an amazing experience. I mean, it's challenging. It's really make me scared in the when I am working on it. But when you finish that kind of project, that big project that's really really have a big of challenge, it's really like a pleasant experience. It's really like it's satisfying to
Yeah.
to finish that kind of project.
Yeah, especially with the fact that Topcoder Open is the annual global event,
Mm-hmm.
which is like people in the Topcoder is the best of the best people. Like in the algorithm track, there's some people with actually really superstars
Mm-hmm.
in their field. Even some of them have their own Wikipedia page,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
crazy. And some of the designers too, also some friends from Indonesia, from Thailand, from um, a lot of places all over the world. It is nice to see and create something for the community which is full of really talented people, and we are able to provide them the best that we can. And of course, for such a community which is full of talented people, we have to deliver and make use of our talent the best possible.
Yeah, right, definitely. So,
Mm.
uh, you're talking about the superstar of Topcoder. That's also one thing that I, as a new member of Overlaps, need to learn because, like that slideshow photo,
Mhm.
there's like two kind of slideshows. So we have like ones that have all participants in it, and then another one that we have like just a few photos, to be put in that video. So and we have to put like the ones that usually wins the TCO, like the one that win TCO the most.
Mhm.
So that's kind of thing that me as a new member of the team need to learn to make the perfect video. So yeah, definitely such an amazing experience, not only for Sandika and Farida, but for all of us out of the team, because like all the editors right behind me,
Mhm.
they're all working on TCO at least at some little parts. Like it's really uh, put us on some some big challenges.
Yeah.
Right. So okay, how about this TCO 21 event compared to uh, some previous TCO event other than that of pandemic and that kind of recording that you have done manually this year? Is there any other challenges in this TCO, or maybe any other stuff that interesting to be told to the audience?
Yeah. So every top coder has its own story,
Mm-hmm.
and I personally, as I said earlier, that I really want to bring something new for the community every year. And TCO 19 is the last time we are doing that on site. Maybe for now, hopefully, Topcoder doing that on site again for the next year, so be able to flew into United States and do that kind of stuff on site and meet the community member. And 2019 is our benchmark so far for event. So we actually done a lot of things. It's our first time to as well to have that kind of lighting treatment on location. So in 2017, we are setting up a portable studio.
Mm-hmm.
So we capture the community member in a studio spot. We ask them to pose. So Topcoder will have that kind of bunch of stock footage and stock photo of people posing,
Yep.
because Topcoder is about the community.
Yep.
So we want to get that the best possible, because they are fly across the globes and they are meet in one place. What's the best thing other than having them like pose for the camera?
Yep. Yep.
And but it's kind of boring, because even they are flew, but it looks like they are just being shot in the studio format. This does not actually represent the actual stage. But at the same time, I also want to have that kind of like good lighting treatment. So in 2019, what we do is we are implementing such a moving studio. So it's a team effort. It's some people holding lighting. So I'm capturing camera, but the lighting is just moving, following
Mhm.
the people. So when I'm shooting here, the lighting treatment is ready. I'm shooting there, the lighting is ready. So every frame, every video frame in the Topcoder 2019, most of them has a good lighting treatment. So it's a dynamic lighting quality in every frames. In other than that, I also usually create some time lapse of the event. It's always the good way for us to show the progress, because competitions and when the time is become the constraint, a time is always become a very interesting aspect to show to the audience. So time lapse is the best solution for that. In 2017, we are doing time lapse. 18 also doing time lapse. In 2019, we are doing the moving time lapse.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually have some devices. It's the motorized slider,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is really, so it's really like everything about Topcoder Open 19 is everything that we can possibly do in the maximum way in the aspect of production. And always when it comes to video production, it also comes to the equipment, right?
Right.
So Topcoder honestly also become one of the reason why is the reason we need to upgrade our setup. So of course with the 2020 and 21, I was imagining what kind of other things that we can do and what kind of experimental project we
Mhm.
can do. So in my imaginations, the 2000 and maybe 2021, we can also reintroduce the double exposure effect maybe
Oh, I see.
to the, or maybe hyperlapse. We
Mhm.
have been done that before, but we want to just do that for this year, or even anything like maybe combining with some 3D with the recap, and also I don't know, like there's a lot of opportunity and things to be more creative on, and this is something the most interesting aspect on planning on how what to do the next Topcoder event. And let's see what will become with the 2022 for
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah. Hopefully, the next year will be a better condition for the pandemic, and we can you can fly to US to do that all that stuff that you have planned, right? So yeah, definitely, really interesting. What we're gonna do in the next year. So in this kind of pandemic situation, is there any chance like the ones that the offline event doesn't have, like maybe when you have like some revision from them, it's like, is it more hard to communicate between you and people at Top Coders? I mean, like if they have some things in the video to fix, is there a challenge there, or maybe another challenge, because this is an online event, so there must be a lot of different things from the offline event. Is there any kind of that challenge?
Yeah, so I think the best part of Topcoder is because the spirit of Topcoder is about the community, right? And I'm also the part and the member of the Topcoder community. I'm starting from a designer in Topcoder. I also participating in the challenges because I introduce myself also as the videographer. Rather than Topcoder hiring a professional videographer, because I know that Topcoder always, of course, they're capable of hiring the top-notch videographer from the United States, but they choose to flew me all the way from Indonesia to the United States because they think that I have some value because I am the part of the community member, which is even it takes them more money, of course, to fly me from Indonesia
right.
because they have to pay for the ticket.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, it's such a maybe one of the reasons is because it's such a pleasure for them to bring the real community member and every aspect of Topcoder. So when you check in the Topcoder website, even their website also in the bottom part is being designed by the name of people. So actually, this is the product of the community member, which is makes them proud of their
I
member
see.
of the community. And so that's this video production. They choose me is because I'm part of community, and there's such another story that they can tell to the people that, hey, the people who made this video is also the community member, and I'm very glad and very lucky to be part of the community. So, yeah, really glad to be grateful to be part of the Topcoder.
Right.
Mm.
So
And yeah, so the thing is,
mhm.
because Topcoder also give us a lot of freedom for that.
Mhm.
So when you say that there's a lot of feedback, blah, 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 it's not actually a lot of feedbacks because they actually give me a lot of freedom, and I can just
I see.
I can even just propose that rather than they're asking us to do on things specifically, it's more that what can you do for us?
I see.
It's like an offering. Okay, I can do this, I can do that. I'm able to commit for some hours for every week for doing such kind of things. I'm committed to be available during the time. So it's not like force you to work. It's more like give you freedom to work in your capacity.
Mm-hmm.
That so both of us are comfortable. And this is the best thing about working as the kick worker in Topcoder.
Yeah, right. So there's something that I'm really curious about. So in 2016, you actually compete in UI design track, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So how is that? From being one of the competitor at
Mhm.
the UI design tracks to become a videographer. I mean, like, how did they get to know you that you're a videographer and then proceed to appoint you as their videographer? So what's the story behind that?
Yeah, it's a funny story actually. I recall that moment when I become the finalist because it's a very rare moment for us to participate in the United States. And at the time, I just got a wild card from Topcoder
Mm-hmm.
because actually I'm not competing in the full year. I able to participate in the final event because I win the wild card in the regional event. So being able to compete with the best of the best from all over the world is a real something for me. I'm not targeting at all to become the winner, so it's more like experience for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I bring my camera, I just record everything. That I still remember Jesse at the moment. Just say to me, "Hey, Chandika, you don't have to do this. I mean, just focus on your competitions. You don't have to do
Right.
this." And I say that, no, I just want to do it because it's my maybe once in a lifetime experience. So I just want to have as many memory as possible and capture everything with my camera. And the best thing of that is actually is for the first time ever is Jesse give me such a freedom. All right, if you want to do that, then we will facilitate you.
Oh, I mean, that's
So
amazing.
actually, they facilitating me. They even like give me opportunity to interview the client, to interview some people Topcoder, and at the end also pay me for that. I mean,
Oh my god.
it's more like the self-marketing spontaneously at the spot. They even ask me not to do that because they afraid it will makes me not focus on my competitions. But at the end, they even pay me for that, and they give me such a freedom. Okay, do what you want to do, and we will pay you for that. And yeah, so for the next year, I'm not qualified for the final,
Mm-hmm.
but I offered them to. I'm ready for this year. If you want to, then yeah, they fly me to United States for the second time, and it's always become continuously for every year. And I still remember the moment when one of the Topcoder member is the vice president. Actually, we have conversation because they are on Indonesia for the regional event. And they asked me to reach out to Topcoder whether I want to documenting again for that year, because he know there is some agency pitching to Topcoder,
Mm-hmm.
and they have that kind of very cool plan for the multimedia Topcoder, so they're able to like offer them such a touch screen for the event.
Mm-hmm.
There's a interactive digital on location, so it's bring another level of experience for the community member and the audience, all the stuff. But they choose to hire me instead of that kind of cool agency from the States, because they think that let's hire the community member because it's more valuable for us maybe. So I really appreciate for that they like hold the community more than any other things.
Yeah, they really appreciate their community, right?
Right.
So that's interesting story. So, and even in that year when you competed in the final in 2016, you got like third position, right?
Yes, yeah. So nothing to lose. I just do anything what I can do, and I'm just having fun. But it's not that the client sees that I'm thinking outside the box, when in fact I just playing around. So yeah, it's just unexpected. I consider myself just lucky one.
That's
And
that's
even I
crazy.
get a job from that. It's just crazy.
That's just perfect, you know.
Yeah, just crazy.
Oh, sorry. And all right, so that's gonna be one of the best advice for photographer and videographer out there. Anywhere you go, bring your camera.
Yeah, and make some initiatives, because
Yep, right.
you don't have to wait for to be paid for do such a thing, as long as it makes you happy. And one of the aspects that I think make me really passionate of doing such a job like doing photo and videography, because it's very easy for us to make people happy.
Yep, right.
So when we capture things and people smile, they're excited to see themselves on the camera. And even I can force people to happy on the camera, and they can become their own self. So that's such a things that really rewarding as the videographer. And when you're really passionate about that, when you just not do that because of the money, then that kind of reward will come to you.
Right, right.
Mhm.
So yeah, because it's just like a pure passion to us, right? So
Yeah.
seeing people happy from our photo or video, it just make us happy ourselves, right?
Right.
It brings happiness both to them and to ourselves. So yep, that's it. Just bring your camera everywhere, guys. Okay, so maybe it's time for us to check some question in the live stream.
Hopefully.
Hopefully there is some.
Hopefully there's no difficult questions.
Okay. Okay, so there's a question here. Which one do you like, online documentation or offline documentation? And which one make you more stressful?
Okay, so each of the kind of documentation has a different set of challenges. So people will think that creating and producing content for online event is easier, but in fact, because the needs of the content production for online is more than the on-site event, because for example people will really focus on the screen rather than the overall experience. When the overall experience you just able to put some static screen on the static design on the screen, but for online you have to really deal with that kind of small animation just to make sure that
Right,
people
right.
not bored with the things they see on the computer. And the biggest challenge that we face is because it's not easy to find a good footage when you have a very limited resource. So what we are seeing on the online event is because we are just reusing the asset over and over because you're out of assets, and it's difficult to create a new asset because you don't have any capacity to record it yourself. But in the on-site event, it's more like playing around. I mean, you just hang out with friends.
Yep.
You're just having fun. Like apart from documenting, you're always able to have the real conversations. But with the online, it's just you and the screens. But yeah, of course, everything has its own story. And I believe that with the online event too as well. Topcoder also trying their best to give the best experience that people maybe never experienced before. So for example, like they create such a small rooms, so in order able to make people able to uh, hanging around. So they create multiple rooms with the different topics. Everyone want to hang around with some specific topic. You can just go into that rooms, just meet new friends, all that. So when in the same time in the real life maybe they're shy, they don't want to talk, because what I witnessed from the top of the event, because even some of the people are very excited to meet each other, but some of them, because they might be coming from another country with maybe English is not their native language, so it's kind of shy to meet at the beginning, and it's turned out that at the event they just being in the group based on their country.
Yeah.
So with the online event, it's more like they're blending together and they're able to chat and just seeing the chat popping in. Blah, blah, blah. It's just so nice to see. So maybe the online event is just the beginning for them to getting close.
Hopefully.
Yes, and also getting to know each other. When in the online event comes, with the on-site event comes, they just, hey, you're the people who I compared last year. They have some things to. Yeah, interesting.
And there's a question of which one make you more stressful?
Yeah, I think online is more stressful.
Yeah.
Not not as fun as the offsite, and everyone will agree about that. For sure.
Right. Okay. Yeah, right. We have to stay in the office like every time, other than you can go like playing around in the on-site, like as you said.
Yeah.
And
it's more like asking which one is more fun, editing or doing production.
Definitely doing production is more fun. And yes, you're right. Like that factor of online event, like we don't have that much source for video, so we have to use like the previous year source, like the one that hype video that we're working on. We have to really dig into all Topcoder videos that we have to really put some videos from maybe 2017, 18, 19 and compare it and combine it to one video for the hype video of 2021. And that's definitely some kind of challenge, because sometimes we don't have that much video to be one video that we have target like this. For this video we have to make it like 1 or 2 minutes, and sometimes there's just not enough video to make that video, whereas in the on-site event I think it's just easier to get all the source that you need for editing, because you can take it yourself, and there must be like you said that kind of new concept every year. That's kind of,
and always like on an on-site event, that idea is just coming on the place. So me and Verita is always discussing on site like what kind of idea we can bring for this year. And at that moment, at 2019, the time when TCO comes is right after we are doing the documentary project.
Oh, I see.
So after we are flying across the globes, we went to Europe, we went to there is 3 places in Europe, and we ended up in San Francisco, and we went to the TCO event. So that kind of documentary experience is still on us. So we have that kind of slightly documentary approach on that event. So instead of interviewing people, we also want to grab that kind of the real conversation that's interesting. So the camera, the recorder is standing by every time just to capture some snippets that might be very interesting, but also it's very impactful and so powerful. Just a small footage of people we not usually speak up on the event, because they are spectating the competitor. They're spontaneously say, hey, look at these people is challenging that. We able to get it. We put that on the events. It feels so, that energy that we can feel, because we able to capture that kind of spontaneous energy from the community and for the spectator, and even from the finalists, with the expression like they are like that, and they are yes, and they're like being stressful.
Yeah, to really capture the expressions.
Yeah,
right.
this is something that we won't be able to ask them to do that by acting, because some of them are Russian people. which is we personally witnessed that it's very difficult for us to ask them to pose for the camera, because most of them are people who usually being uh, like happy to be in front of a computer for hours, that I'm pretty sure they're not really being exposed very much on front of camera.
Right.
Yeah, because they love to working behind the stage, behind the computer. So it's set of different challenges. But when we able to get that spontaneous energy, spontaneous moment, um, life is precious. I mean,
Yeah,
something that's really
I got it. Like when we capture that natural expressions, it's 1,000 times better than when we force someone to act like what we want, right?
no.
So,
They will never get the same
Mhm,
result.
right,
Never
right,
achieve
right.
the same result.
yeah. So just that's when you get that natural expression, it's just something else.
Mhm. Yeah.
So move on to the next question. Alright. Alright. In every Topcoder event, you put crazy exploration on videos things that they're needed. Is there any tips to tackle their brief, and how do you break down their brand guidelines into videos things?
What? So
It's like
compli-
yeah, it's more asking about. I think it's about communication. I mean, like what they want, and how we translate into things that we're working. I mean, how to really get their brief, something like that. I think.
yeah. The first time I got a lot of brief from Topcoder is while we were working on a documentary project.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a lot of revision on that. But it's not that their revision is actually shape the video into more powerful piece. This is the first time I really learned from the Topcoder people, especially from the marketing people, from the community member people. So on how they give feedback is really constructive. And yeah, I just say that at the beginning they give us some freedoms to
Mhm.
do everything that we want, because what I learned, Raka, from people from Western especially, is they put in a lot of trust
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
people.
Mm-hmm.
So when they give you such a assignment, it means that they trust to you.
Right.
And what you need to do is just deliver the best you can, and maybe they will be impressed for that. And what I do is actually always I'm trying to do my best, and most of the time they will be okay with that. I mean, there is no such a rejection
Mm-hmm.
of the concept I'm doing. I just deliver to them. But for some big project, because for the documentary project they actually have another client, so documentary is the joint forces between Topcoder and its parent company Wipro. So they have to report to Wipro about the result of the project. So they put some efforts on shaping the video to be better, because it's part of the responsibility.
Oh, I see.
But for the Topcoder video, inside the Topcoder, it's more like being pure from the community. Maybe this is something that they really want to see.
Yeah. Right.
Mhm.
Right. So and let's see if there's any. All right, it's no more question, I think.
Mm.
But I have a question that I personally want to ask. So,
Mhm.
um, uh, being at I'm talking about their on-site event. I mean, international event versus just like national event.
Mm.
Is there any really big difference there in like a stress level, or maybe, the challenge on the side? Like maybe there's some unexpected things. How different is to document like just national event and international event?
Okay, so it's more like comparing between international client and local clients.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's interesting because one of the things when we are documenting event is we just want to see the context, right? And the context that can be drive the video is when you're doing the interview. You're doing the interview and you're able to create a video and drive the context of the video based on the interview that you took during the event. And what I really like from the interviewing people from the Western is because the way they're talking is really being structured, and they really
I
think
see.
about the thing that they want to say, and they always try to think and do things that makes our job easier. So that's the thing that, especially with the local client, I don't know, like it's more about the language as well, because when context is being delivered in English, it's just more exact. It's more like, it's more tight, I can say.
Yeah, yeah,
So
right.
some sentences can be like enough information for you to get a context rather than interviewing people in Bahasa. So it's just small thing, but it's really have a broad impact for us when we are doing the video. And other than that, maybe the skin tone.
It's easier to get right in the color. You know, right?
No.
We're not talking about like resisting or some, but from my experience, like when you're videoing like Asian people like us Indonesian, it's harder to get the skin tone right.
Yeah. No,
Have you ever experienced like that kind of?
Yeah, because when experience when I recording in the States is the image is more satisfying. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, right.
it's not the
That's
best. Yeah, the fall off to the skin. It's not about the racism. It's more like about the character. So it's going to be a different color treatment. So it's the same thing like when you're recording in Indonesia versus recording in Europe, maybe. Like the humidity also different.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
color of the sky also different. It's more the context because they're coming to Indonesia. It's more like the people, the skin tone of the people. So it's not the racist factor, but it's just the result that we expect from the camera.
No, I see. So there's definitely some kind of difference in image quality strike out of camera, and not because the camera itself, but from the location itself is really, you know, like really takes effect into the image. Where so.
Yeah.
And about that interview part, I actually have experienced like that same kind of stuff because back in 2019 I joined the Custom Fest project as a video assistant, and we have to interview like their guests that are from Japanese, from Americans. Yeah, it's definitely different, especially using English is just like more
Yeah.
yeah,
So-
it's easier to understand.
And they're trying to deliver the best context they can.
Especially with those like the guests are famous people, especially in customs industry. When I say customs, it means like motorcycle customs. So I think they're more get used to interviews. So they're actually more easily for them to talk to camera other than any usual person, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's more like the culture as well. Like since the childhood, maybe like the how the maybe Western country educate the youngsters. They give them more freedom to speak up, and being critical thinking is being built up more than like in Indonesia. It's more like people usually being shy and silent is gold. It's the kind of thing that always be in our mind. But yes, being speak up is a different culture maybe.
Yeah, yeah, right. So let's see. Okay, it looks like there's no other question, but Verita actually saying that TCO 19 very exhausting, but I missed those moments.
Yeah, so
It looks like
so it's a beneficial things. I struggling myself documenting the TCO because I'm not that good in persuading people to be one and willing to be in front of camera, and it's the job of Verita to do that. So actually,
I see.
she is the one who asking people to come to camera, and no, I don't know. It's just so easy for the women to just persuade them, especially like people from the Russia, because they're very cold people, and you just ask them to do something, they just not no, no.
they just strike forward, say no, like
Yeah,
that.
just no. They don't want to be in front of camera, but Verita somehow is able to bring them into me, and here we go. I bring them to you. Just do it. Okay, thank you. And yes, it's fun, and we are definitely able to do that. And every year since 2017, 18 actually, Topcoder give us opportunity to bring crew member from Indonesia, starting from Varians helping us with photography, and the next year we actually trying to get Fajar. so our senior videographer, to get into real estate, but actually he's failed in his visa process, so you have to come back to Perion again. And not sure about the next year. Let's see how's it going.
Hopefully you can get some growth there. Because yeah, it's difficult process to get visa to go to US, right? So
Yeah.
but you and Verita working as a team together is like just the perfect combo, you know.
Yeah. So it's made with love.
Because of that chemistry, right?
Right.
Okay, so there's no more other questions, so
Yes.
maybe that's it for this episode of OSS.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, Sandika, for joining me in this OSS. Thank you for you guys for joining us also from YouTube, from Facebook, etc. And yeah, that's it. See you in the OSS next episode. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.